Hi, beautiful ones. Lynda Gaiao here, and I'm bringing you this week's Transit Energy Report. Since last week, when I posted the report, we've actually moved through Gate 57, which is all around intuitive clarity. And as of today, we've moved into Gate 32, which is continuity. So I just want to start by sharing a little bit about Gate 57, and then we'll step into the 32. So 57 is intuitive clarity, and this is the ability to be really in tune in the present moment to these intuitive hits, these intuitive hunches, these intuitive messages that come through for us that really alert us to our what it is exactly that we need for our survival going forward into the future. So with this, anything that is in the splenic center, which is what both the 57 and the 32 are, they're in the spleen, is all about survival instincts. And as soon as you have something around the survival instincts, you are naturally going to have a fear associated with it. So the fear associated with the 57 is the fear of the future. The 57 has got this acoustic quality to it. It's a little bit different to the acoustic quality that comes with the individual channels, but you're really going to be tuning into the right ear for this particular one. And you may even find that if you have this trait in your design, that you naturally lean in forward with your right ear to, and possibly even close your eyes to really listen to the cues in your environment. So yes, we have sounds, people talking, noises around us, but often there is more subtle information or nuances that lie underneath or in between the lines. And it's about our ability to tune into not just the words, but the message behind the words, the energy behind the words, to really dig into what intuitively is going on here. As I'm sure you're very aware, many people may say certain words with their mouths, but something else might be going on underneath that. So this is what we're tuning into. And the ability of the 57 is to know what is healthy or not in the moment for the survival of you or your business. Or, for example, if you're going to be doing a business deal and you're going to shake your hand with somebody, it's picking up that nuance beyond the handshake, beyond the just the formal greeting of saying hello. Is this person correct for my business? Are they healthy for this particular environment? And then getting really comfortable with trusting that information that comes through, and not needing to know necessarily a reason, because as soon as you try to give a reason to intuitive information, you get lost in the realm of the mind. So the intuition speaks really softly, it's very subtle, and it can be easily overwritten by a lot of other loud things in our environment. So we want to be able to just tune into that, not needing to know a reason, and then just going with it. Yes, I pick up the bullshit here or not, being this BS detector, and just moving forward in a direction that is correct and healthy. So let's take a look at the 32 now. 32 is around continuity. And when we're stepping into this gate of continuity, one of the things that we've got to consider is that change is inevitable. Change is something that is always going to be part of our lives. And with this gate of continuity, it's the ability to balance the dynamics of staying conservative, staying with what you know, staying with what you're familiar with, staying with what is how you've always done things, and then stepping over to the other side, which is about the risk of trying something unknown, trying something new to see what will come out of it. And so the fear that comes with this is the fear of failure, fear of the ability, if I take these leaps, if I jump into this unknown, am I going to survive? Am I going to actually succeed or not? The thing that I want to point out here is that because change is something that's always going to happen, if you are kind of dig your heels in and you're not prepared to change and you just want to stick with what you've always done and always known, there is a possibility that you can become irrelevant in your business or in whatever you're delivering in this material world. The company Kodak comes to mind here. They had a business model that was very much around producing film for cameras. And when digital cameras came onto the market, they didn't really take it very seriously. And ultimately, what ended up happening is that digital cameras have by and large taken over the entire market. And so Kodak, because they did not jump into this new unknown territory fast enough, they got left behind and essentially lost massive amounts of revenue. But from their perspective, they were like, well, film has always been our business model, and it's something that we've been doing for as long as we can remember, and it's always worked. So why won't it continue working in the future? And this is where the challenge comes in for all of us. It's about staying relevant, being able to adapt and change with the times, and at the same time, anchoring into the truth of who you are, because you don't want to lose your ethos or your business mission or what you stand for. Even as an individual, you want to be able to stand for whatever you stand for, but still be able to adapt to the current times and to whatever's changing in the world around us. So this continuity is the ability to hold on to what is relevant and let go of what is not, so that you can take this continuity into the future. When we approach change from the perspective of changing everything and anything all at the same time, there can be too much of a shock on our systems and this inability to be able to accept the change, and ultimately becomes failure anyway. So we want to be able to balance the two, where we're moving enough forward but still holding on to whatever is still relevant. The 32 is, as I mentioned, in the spleen. So it's all about survival instinct. So this is about how are we going to survive into the future. And on the other side of the 32, we have the 54th gate, which is in the root center. And this is about drive, or the fuel, or the ambition to bring about change, to bring about things. So as you're stepping into this week, what I would be looking at is how this is showing up for you, doing an evaluation of what has been working, what hasn't been working, what do I still have the fuel for? What do I still have drive to keep going on with in my business or in my general life? And if I don't feel that energy for drive around these things, perhaps it's time to let them go. In the northern hemisphere right now, there is the harvesting time, and autumn is coming. So if you think about the analogy of a tree, for example, at autumn time, you still keep the tree, but you let go of the leaves. Or the fruit comes off, and it's about selecting. Yes, this fruit we want to keep and we want to sell into the market, and these ones we're just going to let them lie in the land and go back into the earth. So there's different ways for us to approach this time, but some contemplation around what is relevant still in my life and what can I let go of that no longer serves me. In this whole process of continuity, another aspect we want to take into consideration is, do we have the education? Do we have the skills? Do we have what is needed to take us forward into the future? And if we don't, perhaps now's the time to skill up or to get educated in these particular areas. And then there's the caution on the other side of that, where you might have some people that are so driven with blind ambition to go somewhere, but it has no substance. So we want to be really cautious about, who are we bringing into our businesses and into our life that could potentially drive us in the wrong direction, because they have too much ambition and drive, but nothing to back it up, versus people being so stuck in the past and in the old ways and the old ways of doing things, that they're not prepared to upskill or gain the new knowledge to stay relevant going forward into the future times. If we're thinking about what's going on around the world globally with everybody, there's so many instances of businesses that are shutting their doors because they're unable to adapt. They're unable to change their model, and their model has become unsustainable or irrelevant in the current times. And those businesses, so for example, I've seen, for example, restaurants who, instead of having dine-in experiences, started delivering takeaways when they had never done takeaways before. Those businesses that were able to adapt to the current time still keep their good quality food, still align with delivery mechanisms that uphold their service guarantee, they have been able to stay relevant and keep in business. But those that were just like, no, we're a dine-in only experience, we're not prepared in becoming a takeaway business, they have shut their doors because they won't be able to sustain their businesses with no people coming in, no customers. So you can see how it's really important for us to attune ourselves to these instincts of knowing what is relevant and what is not. What do we need to hold on to? What do we need to let go of? So for the next couple of weeks, we're going to stay with all the gates in this intuition, in the survival instinct space. And so it's a really great time for us to hone in on our intuition and feeling, how do we connect to that? Are we listening? Are we paying attention? Because remember, the intuitive voice is really soft and subtle, so it's easy to miss it if you're not paying attention. That's pretty much it for this week. And next week we'll be moving into the next gate in the survival instinct. So I'd encourage you to just do whatever you can to be in the present moment and really attuning yourself to those little tiny little subtle hints and seeing how they show up for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your feedback or comments. Please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next week with the next transit video. My name's Lynda Gaiao, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.